Hello, I'm here, I'm alive, I live. Let me keep the playlist real quick, make sure the audio on that sounds okay. We can get rid of all that. Boom, 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 boom. There we are. Howdy everybody. Oh, I need to try to change my little text. Let me edit that. Texturing. Yeah, oh that, you can't even really read that, hold on. Texturing, space. There we go, because this is going to be only the most exciting of content we got today. Alright, so, check over the stream chat. Anyways, howdy, how's everybody doing today? If you liked that intro song, it is Mermaid Falls from Shantae Half Genie Hero. It's a very good song from a cool-ass composer. Alright, how's everybody doing? Shimmy's the ultimate B-Day gift. Well, happy birthday, Evan of the 7-Eleven. Like the name there. Can we have better bullet? I don't know what that means. Hey there, Subspace Trip Mine and Newbert. Oh shit! Thanks for becoming a member, Pro Lexus 16. Hey there, Dakota. Hey there, Lemon. Howdy, Max Does Stuff. Hey, hello there, 3D and Newbert and Eraser Beast. Alright, all is out of the way. First thing that I want to do is showcase a little bit of what I've been cooking up over here at Seth Newland Industries. So, I've drawn a bunch of textures. I've added a lot of details. Let me get rid of this guy first, and I'll discuss a little bit about what we've been up to. So, I'm experimenting with different skyboxes. I really like this kind of turquoisey color with this star pattern. I think it's kind of nice. It has a nice atmosphere. But to lean into the atmosphere a little bit, we've got like these disjointed floating poker chips to sort of sell that weird vibe, sort of ethereal gist. We've got some distant buildings, which I think something went wrong, because there should be a little spinning windmill blades on that, but there isn't. That's kind of janky. Yeah, you can see we've got these sort of textures. I've added some little mini casino buildings here with the little logo. You can kick the door down. You get these little slot machines that you can shoot, and money shoots out from them. And then you can continue on. So, like I said, new set of textures. Some of them need some fixing, because you can sort of see where there's like broken tiling on the actual models. So that's gonna need some fixing. Oh, where did he go? We got another little casino in here. Got this nice little aesthetic. Again, need to fix some tiling issues. Or rather just reducing the models, that way it tiles properly this time. And yeah, now we've got ourselves oh, what did I leave left? Probably the guy I always forget about the guy in the middle. Yeah. There we go. And there we go. Howdy there, the monkey. Is bouncer edible? No. Game volume was loud. Okay, my bad. Sorry, should have checked that sooner. Let me just crank everything down to like half. Okay. Sorry about that, fellas. That has been fixed. Now your eardrum should be intact from the... This game is loud. I think even if you turn the sound effects down, the intensity of the volume is just a lot. So I'll keep them a little lower. Yeah. Oh shit. Seth is cooking and isn't overcooking. Thank you. What's brain? Oh yeah. So I need to explain a new system I've got. So in playtesting, my main playtester, who knows... He's played like a good amount of FPSs, but he died like a lot. Like one of the levels took a lot longer than I feel like I probably want it to the point where I'm concerned that most people would probably give up before they finish playing the game. So I've made a bit of a change to the difficulty into like the health system, because originally what it would do is you would just have a set sort of like health that if you get hit, you get put in a damage state, and if you get hit again, then you die. Yeah, that's the problem. Well, that was how it was done. So I've reworked it a little bit. Oh yeah, we got this nice little new hub area, by the way. I should have shown that off. And this is a logo for the area. I really like how this looks. I think this looks classy and cool. But I've got this, which is a new difficulty system. So we've got Relaxed, which is an easy mode, but you don't earn achievements if you're on Relaxed, just as a way to incentivize playing on the higher difficulties. Mostly Prepared. It's designed for Prepared. So you have 3 health, you lose the health whenever you get hit, you add about a second and a half of invulnerability, and you get 1 health back whenever you kill an enemy. I might lower that to 2, and then you gain 1 on kill. That might change with playtesting, but like I said, I want this to be at least a little bit forgiving. I don't want to make it too difficult just to finish the stages, because a lot of the difficulty balance is weighted on learning how to speedrun and getting better. And then there's Unreasonable, you just have 1 health. And then you've got Relaxed, where you have double the amount of health, and you gain double the amount of health on kill. This is basically a mode so that anybody could finish the game, ideally. It'll probably still be kind of difficult if you're not particularly experienced with FPS games, and a lot of the movement associated with them. And this will be like a little achievement board. So that'll be things like, I don't know if I've got any ideas for like crazy achievements per stages, but I know I want to do like main ones are just get a good rank on every level. But that's the new health system, also known as Brain. And the reason that the juice total is changing is that whenever you kill an enemy, it'll increase your combo count by 1. And that whenever you this is another change. Okay, why are you back to loud, game? Something's janking with this. Yeah, it keeps resetting itself to loudness. I'm gonna lower my desktop audio, so that's not quite as loud on your guys' end, and then increase the music volume a bit on my end. That should equal out a little. Hopefully. Try negative 35. Nah, it's still too loud. Hold on. Just fiddle with sound settings for a bit. Then, how does that sound? That's still pretty loud, isn't it? Whatever. I'll lower it quite a bit more. How's that? How does this sound? Yeah, you could afford to be a little bit smaller. A little bit quieter. Hold on, a little bit quieter. Okay, that's probably fine. And then I'll just increase the music volume a little bit. There we go. Might be a little hard to hear now. But it's still there. Alright. Sorry about the settings fiddling. Easier difficulty is always nice for labbing routing. That is a good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, like I said, main goal is just accessibility, because I'm well aware, based on the way that some of the people in the comments type, that there are a good number of younger people in the audience, and I'd like them to be able to play the game and, like, finish the stages. That would be nice. But yeah, like you said, it can be good for figuring out routes and stuff, too, with that extra level of forgiveness. Newbert appreciates. I'm gonna stop saying your thing in the third person. Lobby being wheelchair accessible. I don't know if it's fully wheelchair accessible, because if you want to get to these levels, you still gotta, like, if you want to get to the tutorial, if you want to learn how to play the game, you still gotta, like, do these little jumps. Oh yeah, and the tutorials have textures now, so that's cool. And they've got the part of the idea for the tutorial stages is that they're inside of the brain of the main character. So there's like these little floating brain icons. Ooh. And this like stormy sort of purple void with these very bright orange textures, which might need a subtle tone down, or maybe like a texture that's a little bit more obvious. It's like maybe just color those in a slightly darker shade so it's a little more apparent. But I like the direction it's taking. It's a little bit eye bleedy, but I don't know if a little bit of eye bleed is too bad in my instance. Anyways, on to the main attraction for today. Let's go gambling. Player reveal? Well, I do actually have a character design in the works for the protagonist. I don't think you guys are ever gonna see it though, like ever. I think I'm gonna keep his normal like human form, because I'll say this: he changes a bit when he goes inside this weird the void zone. And he does look like kind of just a normal human otherwise. And I don't think you're ever going to get to see that design of him. I think I'm going to keep that a secret. Or More something you're just not going to see. Planning on adding any new weapons or hands in the future? Probably. The part of the idea with not adding new weapons right now is that I just want to ensure that I've got every niche filled, essentially. Like, every type of weapon that I would want to add has already been added. Oh. That's weird looking. Whatever. We're gonna start painting materials in a second. But I want to add new weapons to, like, maybe probably something for extra close range options, because right now your main two options for, like, close range combat are, are either to uppercut them, or shoot them and then shoot them again like that. So your options are a little limited at close range, so if anything, I'd consider retooling those a little bit. Or rather having additional options for that, like, close range combat. That's the thought process there. Anyways, so we're going to hit Shift F5, go to Attributes, and Edit Materials. I don't know why this is showing up. It's the death plane. It's, like, letting me edit the geometry of the death plane for some reason. Don't really want to do that. So we're going to add a couple of textures to start out with. Let's do the fundamental, like, ground everything first. Actually, wait. Before we do that, I want to make one little change. No, okay, that area's already cut off. That's good. I was going to make a little separation. I'll do a separation there. Whoops. Select this first. No? Why are you misaligned? Okay, hold on. I'm going to reset this. Let's make it a 200 by 200, just make sure it's lined up. Nope. There we go. Now we can make it. Reset grid. Why do you not want to reset the grid? Why are you like this? Okay, there we go. I just did that because I wanted to have a bit of separation between each of the buildings. So we're going to go and edit materials. We're going to get, I think I called it Orb? Warble? Or grass? Yeah, there's grass and dark grass. So it automatically painted everything dark grass. So what we want to do is select all within angle, and then this will be really helpful for, like, mass selecting pieces of geometry like so. And we can just select all of the parts like this that we want to be grass, and then we can go ahead and make sure that this is set to grass, and then assign active material. So now this is the regular grass, and this is the darker grass. Yeah. One thing we do need to do, though, is set that up in this little panel. Okay. There we go. Now our level is pink. Before I forget, actually, I want to see what exactly... That's right. I used the rock texture for this. I used the building exterior texture for that, a blue one on the inside, and then a purple on the accents. Okay. So we're going to keep the same kind of scheme going. Wrong stage. Here we go. So we're gonna... This is gonna be the main sort of manual part of today. It's gonna be a lot of selecting faces and setting them to the right texture. You ever told us Jeb was RGB? Oh, that's because whoops. Each Jeb looks a little different because these are the guys that launch you. He's spinning and flashing because he's a super Jeb. And super Jebs send you flying real far, as compared to a regular Jeb. You can actually see some regular Jebs up here, and they're not spinning, they're just normal red ones, because they're regular Jebs, not super Jebs. Okay, so we're gonna add, it was rock, and, oops, rock and dark rock. So what we're gonna do first is set up our rock texture. And we're going to just take this section by section, see how it looks. So we're going to do this little introductory section, this sort of middle piece of geometry first. And we'll move on to the other places from there. So let's select all of these faces. I don't know if there's a faster way to do something like this, but this feels... Compared to what I thought I was going to have to do, this feels pretty darn efficient. Okay, now we've got all those sides, and we're going to grab rock, and we're going to assign active material. So now we've got that nice little rock texture applied to the side of everything, so it looks a little bit less like a jumbled mess. Now what we want to do is select the bottom of all of these sections, like so, and then we're going to make that dark rock. And that gives it sort of a faux shading look, as you can see there. Gives it a little bit of distinction, just looks a bit nicer. So now we're going to need to add a couple extra materials. We're going to add, we're going to get building exterior, blue, is it blue warble? Is that the one I used? Maybe blue warble, or is it interior? I need to have a better memory of what I call my materials. Let's go to textures, let's go to level textures, 1 million, wallpaper. It's called wallpaper. Gonna get wallpaper, then we're gonna get purple. There we go. So I've played the demo. Do you have a reference? I don't have a great time frame. I'll say that it's not far from being done, but like I said, I want to get this on Steam, and I have some other like sort of technical back-end stuff I've got to do. So I'll say that the demo itself is not far off from being done. Like I think it'll be content complete and like fully textured in about 2 weeks. That feels pretty feasible. So, like I said, pretty close to being done on that front. But I wouldn't count on it being out in 2 weeks, because like I said, I need to get it on Steam. There's a certain waiting period you have to go through with Steam, and there's some other rigmarole. And there are a couple other things here and there that I just want to make sure that I have everything in place first, alongside it. But I wouldn't count on it taking too long. I think... I'll say this. Before the end of the month feels almost impossible to miss. I'm confident in that. Probably. Again, you know, things can change. Oh, I need to... Oh, I forgot to do something, actually. Let's go to... Oh, I didn't save any of my material changes. We're going to have to do all that again. I'm so stupid. I keep forgetting to do that. But what we're going to do is go to Mesh. We're going to remesh that. And you can see the benefits of that here, where it re-triangulates everything and sort of makes the models a bit more consistent for texturing purposes. Would Jeb jaywalk? Yeah, probably. What would one need to do to playtest? I'm keeping that to friends for now. I know there's a lot of people who would be willing to do playtesting. But I'm trying to not... I don't really want it to be publicly accessible until it's in a spot that I'm really, like, very proud of. Yeah, let's go ahead and accept that before I forget to do that. It's going to need a second to load that, because whenever you make these sort of big material changes, it sort of chunks the engine for a second. We're going to go ahead and quickly reselect all that. But while I'm doing that, see if there's any other questions. 3 months later, don't worry, guys, it's releasing soon. That I'm not worried about. It'll definitely happen. Make it so when you use the bird on Jeb or Super Jeb, you die? But why? That seems like it would... I mean, you'd want to naturally combine the speed-boosting weapon with the speed-boosting guy. I think banning it... I think making that not work only for the sake of the funny is not worth the speed loss. Oh shit! Thank you, Anuar, for the $5. Thank you for the dono. I need to get notifications set up so that'll show up on screen and like read out a little TTS. I need to get that figured out. I will heart it. There we go. But yes, thank you very much. That is very cool. I think that is my second stream donation ever. So very cool indeed. So that completely knocked me out of my train of thought. That was very cool. Funnily enough, that $5 donation you just made is more than I will make off ad revenue on a video in like most days I get like $3 of ad rev. So you've cleared that by quite a bit, so appreciate it. Okay, that's reset. I'm gonna accept the changes before I forget. Then we can go back in. What gave you the idea for hand signs for weapons? I don't know, it just kind of appeared in my head one day. Maybe gave playtesting to channel members? Maybe. I do intend on doing a Patreon release alongside the demo. You know, mostly it's just like a little bit of extra security. Like, I'm not expecting many people to sign up, if any. Like, it's probably gonna be like one person who joins at least. Maybe. I don't know. I don't wanna get too cocky. But I know that, like, exclusive access to, like, early builds of stages, that is, like, the main sort of, like, backer perk that I'd think of. Okay, so now let's go ahead and set this to checker. And we're going to set this to brush. So what we can do is manually go through here and just select this whole face. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. And we'll fill this part too. Sure. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. There we go. And we're going to set that to, set to checker, and then assign that active material. Okay, then we're going to accept, wait for it to load a little bit, and there we go. Now we got ourselves a nice little building. I like the red and the blue contrast quite a bit. It's a nice little palette. With the sort of solid purple, although I think the purple might need to be a little bit more of an actual texture instead of just like that sort of shape. Oops, there's the Discord, hold on. I keep forgetting to pin it. Alright, that's pinned now. I know Jack Diddley squat about game development, so this is all fascinating. Well, I wouldn't take a lot of lessons from this, because I am far from an expert at any of this. But, you know, I've got a method, and it's currently working, so, you know. I did actually forget that I wanted to do something. We're going to hit Shift F1 to, actually F10, to open this up. We're in selection mode, and we're going to go to Props, and we're going to get a door. And we're going to shrink the model of this down a little bit so that it meshes with it. So let's grab the cube grid. Actually, let's go ahead and tear this whole wall down because it's not quite aligned properly. Nope. Oh no, I've ruined everything. No. No. Hold on. Q. No. Hold on. Shift Q. Oh, it's the wrong block size. I'm stupid. Gonna cancel that. We don't want to run that change. No, I said change. I said cancel. Okay. Now we're at 200. We're at the correct scaling. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is grab all this and then push it in a little bit. Then grab all this, push it out. There we go. So now it is one solid block. Just the way we want it. Okay. So we can accept that change. Then we're going to go to attributes. We're going to select by angle. Then we're going to just quickly reapply those textures. So we can go ahead and whatever. It's very cluttered right now visually, but we will sort that out in one moment. Go ahead and close out of that tab. So it's just kind of clogging it up when we don't need it to. So grab that. Grab this side. Keep closing out of that on accident. Make this building exterior, then make this purple, then go back to brush selection, do that. There's gonna be a lot of this, probably not today. I'll save a lot of the nitty gritty, like fixing sections where it doesn't tile properly, because that's not super interesting. But that gives you a little bit of an idea of like sections where I accidentally built the model wrong, or where there's weird bits of geometry that's gonna need to be fixed or tweaked or altered. Let's add this door in. Okay, so let's set this to default player start. So you spawn in this little room, then kick your way out of the door and launch yourself forwards. I'm gonna get rid of that glue because it kind of covers up Jib. Yeah, that's kind of fun. I like that. maybe even push the player a little bit further back into the stage. And here's something else I think we're gonna add. We're gonna put a slot machine right there, and then I've added a new type of slot machine right here. So you've got two little slot machines, and if you shoot them, it actually gives you a little bit of combo back. You can see it spits money out when you shoot it. So boom, you kick the door down, and bada bing, bada boom, you're in the main stage. Excellent. Wow, that's a door. Grilled cheese power up. I don't think I want to incorporate community memes too much. I think we need a chair and table. Maybe. Was Sheila inspired by Violet from The Incredibles? No, actually, but that is a fair comparison because they're both purple and, well, I guess Sheila's more pink, but they both shield things, so it is an apt comparison. But that was not intended. You've had two stream thumbnails with Gunther and Sheila next to each other. Is it canon? I mean, they hang out together canonically because they are a good combo. But none of these characters, like, these things are like barely, these blob people are barely functional. I wouldn't think too hard about what they are or not capable of doing. Their brains are very small, you see. What was I doing? Right. Texturing. That's the whole point of the stream. Let's go gambling! An enemy called Garfield. That's a low image of Garfield. I don't think I got the rights. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and make this checkerboard. Actually, I think that'll just kind of look a little nicer when it's all consistent to its own section. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and paint all of this side of the building. Oh yeah, that actually does remind me with the Garfield thing. I wanted to ask chat's thoughts on something, because there's a lot of people who will come to me with like a suggestion for like an enemy, and it'll be like a drawn out like little idea for what the enemy should do, what their name will be, the design and stuff. I don't really know how to tell people that I'm not interested in just like, I don't want to just like take someone's enemy design, you know, like I don't want to just like, I'm not really looking for like fan submissions for character designs, if that makes sense, you know? And I don't want to be like an ass when I say it, because it feels like it sounds a little rude, but like I'm not trying to like take other people's designs and stuff and put them in the game, you know? I'm trying to keep it all to what's in this stupid ass dome of mine. I don't know. That's something I've been, I guess I don't really know exactly what I'm asking, but that is something that has been on the brain recently. These bits I might replace these little pillars with more slot machines and stuff. Let me slow the camera down with Scotia, actually. Yeah. So this is all going to be wallpaper texture. Blue. Doesn't sound rude. That's kind of the thought process. Like, it isn't rude, but I want to make sure that I can explain it in a way where it makes sense. And I don't want to discourage people, right? Like, I think that people who see my thing and they're like, oh, I want to come up with my own ideas for it, I think that's cool. But I also think that there are some people who expect, or at least think, that there is a chance that I'm going to make any of it real. Like, add it to the game. And I guess that's more so where the concern lies. I think people mean well, for sure. I should stress. There is also something else I've noticed where like people want to. There's people like, oh, I'll do work for the game for free. Which one? If I was gonna have somebody work with me on this game, no, you're getting paid. I will not accept free labor. That is not how we do things in this business. We pay people for their time. You know, sometimes we don't have a ton of budget, but we do what we can. Gotta keep that as a standard. But there's been a lot of requests of very well-meaning people who want to like, they're like, oh, I could do music, or I could do yada yada XYZ. That's it. That's not. There's not really anything complicated to that thought. That's just another thought. No, that's not gonna work. Because then I'm gonna have to Yeah. Because I want these to be orange with this blue accent to them. So I'm gonna need to do a bit more manual face selection. Save it for your mod. Yeah, that's probably a good way of putting it. Make a Google Doc that states your stance on submissions, put a link. Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. Something to, like, clearly let people know what it is. Again, I think a lot of people who would come up with an idea and genuinely expect me to, like, add it wholesale, probably on the younger side, I would guess. I imagine. But I don't know. There's a lot of things that you wouldn't really ever like think about when it comes to making games, or more so, I guess, managing a community. I think I've done a pretty okay job so far. It's hard to judge though. It's very. I'm sure this is not a surprise, but going from like 20 subs to this in like a month and a half is still not very real feeling. But, I mean, it's real, it's happening. As much as it feels like it isn't sometimes. Anyways, I got a little lost. Back to game stuff. So, let's continue adding our nice little textures here. Well, I guess this is probably going to be a good, like, just chatting stream now that I think about it. It's going to be a lot of watching me placing materials on things. Maybe it's like got that kind of satisfying quality watching it get built. The character you play is a fully rotoscope blue guy. You're not gonna be able to see him, but sure. Meme answer side, the easy way is to not devalue the idea, but empower yourself. Okay, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah. End up with asking if they can understand perspective. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. It's like not. Because I want to encourage people's creativity, right? Like, if someone's like, "Oh man, I've got all these crazy ideas for something," or I've made this like new enemy design or something. I don't want to be like, yeah, it's finding it in a way where it's how to phrase it, where it doesn't sound like I'm shooting down their creativity, but rather encouraging it, but letting them know that it's separate from my thing, you know? That's the conundrum I've found myself in. I mean, when I think about it, though, it's a pretty good problem to have, is that some people are too enthused. So I probably shouldn't. I guess I'm not really complaining, I'm more so just thinking aloud. Let's make this wallpaper, I think. Yeah. There we go. What a strange-looking interior. It's such like a like, this is not what you'd think the inside of a casino looks like, but that's kind of why I'm vibing with it. It's because it's so, like, what is this color palette? What is any of this? It's so strange looking, but I don't know. I'm driving with it. I think I'll add a little like casino sign right on there. Do I have a dark checker? I might have a dark colored checkerboard. Whoops. I think I made one for the tutorial. Dark check. That's alright, I got rid of that one. We'll just make we'll make a dark checkerboard later. If the whole game is a dream? No. What is better, Dr. Pepper or Pepsi? I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like either Dr. Pepper or Pepsi. I think both of them are not great. Personally, for talking sodas, I'm a Sprite guy. Sprite's kind of the only one I'm a big fan of. But even then, I don't really drink a whole lot of soda. I don't dislike soda, but I don't like soda a whole lot more than I like just drinking water. So it's like, don't want to drink something that's, like, good, but I don't love it. Or just stick with the option that's healthier by a long shot, you know? It feels like it's easier just to stick to drinking water all the time. As boring of an answer as that is. But it's true. It's true. What can I say? What can I say? This is such a weird looking texture combo. I'm digging it. I'm digging it. Also, nature of devlogs. People enjoy them because it feels collaborative and invites engagement. If you want a metagame, the trick is to bake it in, give them a place to funnel those feelings that doesn't impact the project. Vice versa fan art. Okay, yeah. That's kind of the nice benefit of the Discord, is like it's got a place for people to express the ideas they come up with. Because I want to encourage people to like make their own stuff, you know? I should stress, like, this game, if you've got an idea or something, and this, like, my game, you're like, oh, I want to try something with a similar concept, but like take it in a different direction with like the hand switching gimmick or anything else, like, you have full clearance. Like, this is a free country. Like, what I'm making is something that is an amalgam of so many other things that, like, you know, it's mine, but it's not like it's the most unique thing out there, right? Go nuts, knock yourself out. If I make something and someone sees that and it's like, oh man, this makes me want to try learning Unreal or get more into game development, and that's the best thing I could ask for, really. Because more people are making games, the more games exist, the more games, and the more good games. And everyone's got to make a lot of bad games before you can make a good game, but the only way you can make a good game is you start making bad games. Alright, now I think I'm just rambling. Rambling or not, it's true. It's just true. Alright, let's go ahead and apply the purple to all of these faces. And I think that should do it for most of the interior texture work. Did I get the doorway up here? Yes. And there's a doorway in here, right. There we go. And we're going to apply the purple to all of that. And there we go. Okay, so this section's still going to need a bit of texture work. But in here, it's looking pretty complete. Okay, we're going to need to add some props and posters and stuff. So this is not done, but this is a good direction. Of course, it's not 100% unique. We're not good demo. Well, yeah, of course. I don't think anybody believes that this game is the most original game out there. But there are also people who I think can easily misunderstand things about how creativity works. Dang. Really forced me to get in the minutia here. Yeah, okay. That was the wrong material. Shit. Meant to make that wallpaper. Okay, well, back we go in one more time. Gonna select all these faces. Select all these faces, give it the nice wallpapery texture. So something I found interesting about this process of, like, experimenting with textures and stuff, and level design, like, visual level design, is that, like, there's so much detail you can pack into a stage, right? Like, you can make something really, really convoluted and detailed and stuff, and that's cool and all. But I just genuinely cannot fathom how some people, like, can put so much detail into a stage, like, visually. If it's not, like, a solo project, like, if it's like, a team of people, like, I get it, you got a dedicated, like, environment design guy, but I don't know how, like, one person, when they're making a video game with all the other stuff that you gotta do alongside it, they're just like, oh yeah, I can just, like, make all these extremely complicated, like, detailed environments with all these insane, like, props and details and stuff. Like, how do you do that? I mean, I guess it's just another skill to learn, but, like, the upper bound on game development is so absurdly high. It's so cool. It's one of the things that's so cool about making games, is that it's like, you can just continuously get better for forever. There's never, ever a point where you're gonna run out of new stuff to learn and new interesting techniques and whatever to wrap your head around. It's very sick. Okay, building. Maybe the ceiling will have a different texture, so it's not just the whole checker. But let's go ahead and give that a little run through before we start adding in the props. Drop my hit there. Then lure these two goons over. Send them straight up. Run our way on through. Okay, I think that should be everybody in here. Okay, then clear the roof. Yeah, I think that's going to need a different texture from the regular checkerboard. I think when it's sort of stretched over everything like this, it looks a little bit weird. I don't know. Maybe like some slightly darker, like more gray textures to sort of match the roof aesthetic we got going on. And here we can see some normal jibs, which I'm going to need to raise a little bit because they're currently embedded thoroughly into the floor. Alright. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and start getting some props in there now. So we're going to hit Shift F1 to go to selection mode, and then F10 to bring these panels back. Sorry, I haven't checked chat in a bit. If I ever begin making games, probably one of my main sources of inspiration. Well, thank you. Once I had Pizza Tower and Ultra Kill. Well, I definitely wouldn't take inspiration from those games. Until the heat death of the universe, there's no limit to learning. It's pretty sick. I thought of a silly lore reason as to why Gunther can't shoot at point-blank range. That is just stupid. Hey there, Sandwich. Are the cells ammo? Cells are the enemies. So when you kill an enemy, they're a cell. Takes them down. One thing I feel the AAA industry doesn't understand is not taking risk is the biggest risk. That's true. A lot of now I don't think that's entirely true. I should stress. I think there can be a tendency sometimes to make overgeneralized statements about the game industry as a whole. And I think for the most part, the game industry is in a really nice spot right now. And a large part of that is because we've got the biggest, most flourishing, thriving indie game scene that we've ever had. And as tools begin to be more and more accessible, you can get so many cool games that are for dirt cheap. Like I just got Peaks of Yore on the Steam sale, and that game is sick as hell. And it's cool. I haven't really played anything quite like it. And there's always stuff that's coming out like that you've just something that's going to be fresh and new and original. And some of the AAA stuff is lacking, but I don't think that's a new phenomenon. A lot of AAA games have been pretty lacking. The only big studio that I think is constantly pretty fresh is Nintendo. Even then they get their Switch Sports and stuff, but you get that alongside a Mario Wonder and all the other games that are actually good. So I don't think it's entirely fair to say that the game industry as a whole is lacking. But I think it's a lot in the same place it's always been, where it's a mix of pretty cool and pretty not cool. Okay, let's lift this up so it's at the same height. Yeah. There we go. Slot machines, let's go gambling! Let's lower these down a little bit so they're actually touching the floor. There we go. Might make these walls a little higher so you can't see them turn into face here from 360 degrees. So let's go grab the cube grid. Let's make these, I think these are 50 by 50. No, those are 100 by 100. My class did the thing it likes doing, where it just stops. Just ceases. So I'm going to make these a little taller. Maybe make this place feel a little bit more enclosed. That could be kind of cool. Let's go ahead and... No, not this song. This is the song that got me stuck in purgatory. Hell yeah, gets Mace Tourney. Okay. Let's make these about as tall as the machines. Yeah. Something like that. Probably gonna want to build this. Yeah. We're gonna want to build these as one solid mesh, because otherwise I think that it'll count this and this as different parts of the texture or different parts of the model, and that's when you start running into some jank like this here. This is also something that's gonna need to be retooled. Yeah. Cool. It's easy to make risks when you have one or two dependents. That is also true. One thing that doesn't land, yeah, they can kill people. Not kill people, but kill studios. It's gonna be a battle pass? Yeah, sure. Maybe when people say the game industry is dying... Yeah, right, because there are so many excellent games that come out every year that I feel like people who say that the game industry is dying don't play video games. Or at least they're not playing the right ones. They're not looking in the right place. Because there are so many wonderfully fresh and original games. Like, I will never, ever in my lifetime run out of cool-ass games to play that I've, like, never heard of. And that's the beauty of it. That's what's so great about this industry. I guess, I don't know if that's really unique. I'm sure there's, you know, books and movies and stuff that you could continually find something that's gonna entirely change your perception of what you thought a movie could be or something. But that's one moron's opinion on it. He's like a bouncer. He's not a bouncer, he's a cuboid. But he's like a bouncer. Ah! Ah. He's bouncing me around. Sir, I've got a question. Sir. I just want to get some I just like some customer service. And you can just shoot all these to get a big combo boost. Kinda fun. Indie's the best it's ever been and AAA is the worst it's ever been. I'm trying to think of AAA games that have come out recently. Because, like, I don't know if it's worse than it was in the 360 era, man. Because, like, just think about what came out in the 360 PS3 era. And I'm struggling right now, I'll be honest. I'm having a hard time thinking about what came out during that period of time. Like, Metal Gear Rising was really good. Bayonetta 1. I like Bayonetta 1 a lot. Bayonetta 2 wasn't in that generation, so it doesn't count. But Bayonetta 2 is also sick. Yeah, genuinely, what came out in, like, what are, like, the top games you think of from, like, the PS3 360 era? Because I personally, I feel like that might be, at least, maybe not the worst, but my least favorite era for, like, AAA games. Because I just can't think of that many great games from it. More people should make incredibly self-indulgent stuff. Yes, I agree. Little Big Planet, Halo 3. Like I said, I'm sure there's plenty of good games that did come out in them. Like I haven't played Halo 3, but I do like Little Big Planet. That's a childhood classic of mine. Gambling. This feels pretty gambling-ing. I like the vibe this place has now. Oh, he's turning to face you. It's a little ominous. I wonder if this is going to impact performance. Well, it definitely will impact performance because there's a bunch of extra actors I'm spawning in. But I'm wondering if it'll impact performance negatively. Because, like, I played Fallen Aces, and that game is sick, by the way. And that game runs really well despite having a billion more props than I have. And way more, like, detailed, high-quality textures and maps and stuff. And that runs well, so. It might also just be better optimized under the hood than what I'm cooking up, but I don't know that for sure yet. But probably. That game has an actual studio working on it, not just one Nimrod on a keyboard. Yeah, apply these textures. You see, I don't really know why this happens sometimes. Like, sometimes it just seems like it arbitrarily, like, picks different pieces of geometry that are, like, a different surface. I don't know why that happens. Ooh, we got the Dicey Dungeons music on. Let's go. Okay, and then we're going to select all the tops of these and make this the exterior texture. There we go. Okay. So. Yeah, you kill that guy. You bust the door down. Wait, hold on, I just had a thought. Can you... Okay, so he doesn't break the door, he just gets pushed into it. I might have to make that so it breaks whenever any pawn touches it. Because I kind of like the idea that you could, like, shove someone through a door, or, like, a Slapmo could run through a door or something. I like that idea. You guys still struggle to get through that little gap, don't you? The industry is a great place, but as a dev, saturation means expectation goes up. Funding moves. Yeah, that is a pretty valid point. I mean, I think it's a good thing honestly, that the industry is crashing right now, because there are clearly a lot of issues with like how developers are treated that really needs to be tweaked, that needs correction. Because it is at a point where a lot of people are either not getting their fair wage, or they're being forced to work like much more than is reasonable. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think a lot of people over-exaggerate when they talk about the state of the game industry. I don't disagree with the notion that there are a lot of things that need to be fixed. That is something I agree with wholesale. So yeah, now we're adding a couple little posters here and there. Yeah, maybe put that like right here. See if there's enough room for the Steve poster. You weren't in the Discord, and you haven't seen these yet. They are very dumb little posters that I whipped up. Steve Strike supports smoking. Okay, I like the ambiance these bring. That's quite nice. Yeah. I'm vibing with that. I'm jiving with that. I think the ceiling is kind of the big thing that needs some tweaking. Like maybe like some light fixtures or something would help with that issue where it looks a little like kind of empty. I like the weird colors of the wallpaper and like the signs in these. Like I think it's kind of coming together, but it definitely still needs some tweaks before it gets all the way there. You know. The bouncers keep slamming their faces directly into the slot machines. Whoop. Whoop. Okay, cool. I like how this first floor is coming along. So I'm gonna take a note real quick before I forget. But I'm going to want to add light fixtures and a new ceiling texture. Those are the things that are kind of sticking out to me right now. So, light fixtures, new ceiling texture. Even if it's something simple, like it could even just be the wallpaper texture, but like slightly like a deep purple instead of this light blue. That would be probably better than just sort of this solid color, because I don't think the solid color really works all that great. Probably something low contrast, like the details kind of get lost a little bit. Like it's not super apparent that there even is detail, but a little bit of detail I think will help. Quite a bit in making this look a lot more refined, a lot more polished. Close quarters level, Slat was hidden behind doors at all times, yeah. Any response to people saying the game industry is dying is just start asking them if they played just every single good indie game. Yeah, right. It's like, I played Peaks of Yore recently, I got that on the Steam sale, and that game is sick as hell. And that's something fresh, something new, you know? There's good games coming out all the time. You just gotta know where to look. And maybe the fact that the industry is shifting towards smaller teams and like weirder ideas, maybe that's not dying. Maybe that's a bit of a regrowth. Although undeniably, the AAA industry is in a lot of trouble right now. That is just true. I think it was Final Fantasy 16 was like pretty successful. Like it did quite well critically, but financially it only did like good, despite having like being well received and getting a good marketing push. It's just like the budget I think was unsustainable. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm not super well informed on that specific situation, but I believe that is what I've been told. And yeah, it's just if we're getting to a point where the industry is being forced to downsize, for studios to become smaller, for games to become more focused and simpler, then I don't know if that's really a bad thing. That might be a good thing for the industry in the long term. Ooh, got stuck. Wish gambling was real. Indies have been low-key saving the game industry for a while. It's certainly the best stuff a lot of the best stuff that's out there right now. Like, if you guys know Backlogged, that's a site I'm a big fan of. If you wanna look through my games, my thoughts and opinions, you can go there. You can see all my various correct opinions on gaming. But if I'm looking at like all the games that I've given a 10 out of 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 out of, like, the 10, the 5 out of the 15 are all indies. And I don't have a whole lot of recent games that are 10s. Like, the only one that's a 10 that's recent is Street Fighter 6, and that one's because I'm biased. And Metroid Dread, actually. I've got Metroid Dread as a 10, too. But, like, most of my... A good chunk of my, like, absolute favorite games are indies. Recent indies, too. Ooh. 3.3.3. And then we're going to drag this forwards a little bit. Just a little bit. What about it? Yeah, there we go. I might have to make some more posters, actually. I don't know if I want to do one for every single enemy, but I like these posters a lot. So, maybe. I promise nothing. Okay, so this area is... This feels about done. Give this a run through. Ow. Ouch. Ran sidelong into a cube. Man, I think I underestimated how much time I'm gonna have to spend cleaning up texture areas like that. It's gonna be probably a pretty intensive process. Yeah, it's like what's even the thing here? What did I do here? But I'm gonna have to go in and fix the model. Most of the meshes are fine, but there's enough spots where it's an issue that it's gonna need to require remodeling a good chunk of this stuff. But I want to get the aesthetic down before I worry too hard about the polish. How do you move the camera while moving an object? You mean the shortcut? Oh, you just hold shift. Just hold shift while you're moving it. Super easy. Yeah, it's very, very nice to have. Okay, let's start working on this floor, why don't we? We're gonna have to... First, what we're gonna have to do is go back to the cube grid. And gonna tear these walls down, and then build it back up to about a 3 high. About a 3 high. About a 3 high. About a 3 high. Okay, go ahead and accept those changes. Go to Edit Materials, and we're going to set all of these to the wallpaper texture. Go. Do you want a parry mechanic in the game? Do I want a parry mechanic? Not really. No. There's a lot of people who are suggesting it, and I get it. I get it. Parries are fun. I will not deny this. Parries are generally pretty darn fun. But they're also really common. And I feel like if I was going to include a parry system, like this is just my hubris talking probably, but if I'm going to include a parry, it needs to be like a unique parry system. Like it's got to be something that's like a weird new approach on it rather than just like adding a parry in wholesale, just like kind of like the way another game would do it, you know? Like if there was some sort of like timing based deflection system, it would need to have... It needs a twist. It needs an X factor. It needs a zing. You know, it needs what's gonna like really set that parry apart from, you know, every other game that has a parry in it. What would be the twist? And I don't have a twist as for now. I really don't have any ideas for how I would make a parry unique or interesting in the context of this game. Because like usually how parry works, you deflect an enemy's bullet, you send it flying right back at him at like Mach 10. It's fun. But that's fine in, like, an Ultra Kill, where you've got an arsenal of tools that is very powerful, but also you have very powerful enemies. So the parry is just, like, one of your many options, but you don't really want to over-rely on it, but it fits into the arsenal pretty snugly. In this game, though, your toolset is intentionally very, very limited. Like, you don't have a whole lot to work with. And that's a lot of... Yeah, that's a big part of the speedrun design, is that it's very focused and limited. So if you have a parry that's like a good offensively, it could neutralize a lot of the nuances of close-range combat. And if you've got a parry that's really good defensively, then that could, I guess, sort of lean away from dodging. And I guess parrying could be about as fun as dodging in the correct circumstances. But that's not really what this game is designed around. It's kind of designed with schmaneuvering and whatnot, because it's more of a challenge to look at a cuboid shooting projectiles at a narrow hallway and think, ah, shoot, I gotta weave around these projectiles, rather than just going, no, I parried it, now I've got a free path down the corridor. I'm seeing a lot of suggestions, but that doesn't really get around the fundamental issue that, like, if you can just neutralize projectiles in any way, a lot of enemies just don't work and aren't going to be as fun to fight. Like, if you can grab it, if you can destroy it, if you can do anything, like cuboids kind of cease functioning if you can just parry their attacks. And I don't think I like that. It means that you don't have to engage with certain parts of the game if you can just learn a very easy timing. Same with Gunthers. Like, Gunthers are... a lot of their difficulty comes from space control. And if you don't have to play their game, if you don't have to engage with them on the way that they control the space, then I feel like a part of what makes the game itself, you kind of lose that a little bit. Like, even if you make parries super limited, if you give the player, like, an easy way to just neutralize... If you give the player an easy, consistent way to neutralize it other than just dodging, I don't know if that's going to be as fun as just dodging. But at least that's my stance on it. I'm not saying there's no way that a parry could ever work. That'd be kind of stupid. But personally, don't really want to put a parry in. Not really. I could probably if I thought hard enough and long enough, but I just don't really want to. Which I guess at the end of the day is the key component. That is the most important thing. These might be new posters instead of just using these other textures. And we're definitely going to need a darker version of the checker texture, new ceiling texture, light fixtures, yada yada. I might even make the checker texture a little bit larger, because right now it does cause a little bit of, like, visual noise when there's so many of them, like, stretched out like this, so you can see a lot of checker. So it might need a little bit of a rework. Perhaps. But that'll probably do for now. I'll do some extra detailing to the roof separately, I think, because like I said, this is going to need some new texturing. So I think we're going to do these two platforms, and then get started on the middle building. I hate parry mechanics that are overused and people add them for no reason. I think that I agree to a certain extent. I don't think that they're always added for no reason. Like, sometimes they can be a lot of fun, but it's really hard to make it work, in my opinion. Like, Pizza Tower, fun game, but the parry is not the best balancing. Is not the best balance-wise. Like, if you get decent at parrying, which is not hard, the time window you get is extremely large. It's not a narrow window in the slightest to parry. You can just kind of invalidate most of the boss fights, and you kind of, at a certain point, you don't have to even really engage with the boss fight patterns anymore. I don't know. And again, the bosses are still fun, and parrying is fun. Like, getting the timing down and stuff is enjoyable. But, like, you kind of just don't have to fight the bosses anymore. You're just kind of, it's like a timing test, you know? Like the idea of no parry because it makes you go full matrix dodging. Yeah, that's kind of the gist. Is there thumbs up jumping? Yes, you can detonate or jump. Desaturating the checkers might help. That might also help. Yeah, they're like a little gray. I like Ultra Kill's parrying. Ultra Kill has one of the better examples of parrying for sure. I think the best one is probably in Sekiro, but that feels like cheating because that game is parrying. Like, that is the parrying video game. So I don't know if that really counts for that example. But that is probably my personal favorite example of parrying's implementation. It's pretty fun how they do it. But Sekiro is also just like a sick game, just in general. That game, that is a good-ass game, that is. Let's make you grass. Then dark grass. Then make all this checkerboard. Yeah, that's definitely a little bleedy on the eyes. It's a little bit much. You know what? Live, live tweaking. Let's go to level textures, win million. Do I not have this here? No, I do not. Is it in hub tutorial? No, that's a different one. Here it is. Okay. I'll try to make a material instance out of this one. Okay, well, I guess now you're going to get a chance to see a little bit of my actual material process. So we're going to create a material instance of this base unlit material, and we're going to call it mChecker. So what we're going to do is go into here, and I've got some parameters set up so we can change the texture to the checkered floor texture. We're going to give it a tint of, say, a black tint. And we're going to set the tint alpha to 0.5, 0.1. No, we need is 0.3, 0.2, 0.5. What do we set the tint to white? Yeah, there we go. So let's set the to about 0.3, 0.2, 1. There we go. 5, fix. See, ever subtly getting a little darker. There we go. Let the scaling multiply to about 1. Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and grab this texture and replace this with mChecker. That's our new material. You can see now it's got this gray texture. Although, unfortunately, I inverted that, so it needs to be 0.25. And I think what we're going to do is slightly darken that to point... How do we change it here? Oh, now you can really see where it doesn't match. Oh, no. Oh, no, the model! I've lumbled it. Yeah, it's gonna need some remeshing for sure. That looks a little bit better. Let's try 0.15, maybe? Oh, it really doesn't like the uneven numbers. Yeah, it really doesn't like that at all, does it? Yeah, if it's not like an even sort of split, then you get these really weird sort of flashes. Yeah. Okay, you know, we'll keep it as a sort of gray for now. We can come back to that and retool it probably off. I'll do that probably off stream, because that's going to need a lot of reworking, I think. I think it works good in the standard levels. Yeah. Because it's really fun in the stages, because you have to, like, actually time it pretty precisely to deflect an enemy as you run past them. Very fun in that context, but for boss fights, it kind of just invalidates them, yeah. Imagine a game where you can't parry, but all the enemies can. That's a good idea. What do you think is the worst game you've ever played? I'll get back to that. I want to see this stuff, because I got a long thing. I like how some of the enemies can't or don't hurt you. Yeah, it gives them some variety. This and Post-Void inspired me quite a lot, like the idea of schmovement. Yeah, Post-Void is sick as hell. Are you using world-aligned texture? Oh, no, I'm not, alright. Alright? I'm not, because I'm stupid and I'm a fool. I will implement that off-stream. Let me make a note about that. World-aligned texture. I can't believe I completely forgot about that. Okay, but you've given me a long, nice diatribe topic to talk about while I'm working on this. I've played quite a few games in my time, in my day, and there's a couple that stand above the crowd as, like, some of my absolute least favorites. Because I've got a pretty small list of games that I've given a 1 out of 10. It is not an expansive list by any means. I think out of the 865 games that I've logged on backlog, so all the games that I've, like, tracked throughout my history of gaming, there are 5 1 out of 10 games that I've scored. And okay, so first up is Criticom. If you guys know Matt McMuscles, he does a series about trying to find the worst fighting game, and the thing he tried to dethrone for the longest time was a fighting game called Criticom, and it had that rating, that perception, for a very good reason. It is not good, it's not fun, it's really boring, and it sucks big time. So that's one of them. It's not the most interestingly bad game, but it is, frankly, just terrible. No, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that at all. Grass. And the grass was a little out of place. Maybe another floor texture would do this some good. I think I might just need to reevaluate using the checkerboard pattern at all. Maybe like more of a carpety texture would be good, like a red carpet. That could be kind of nice, like with gold accents to have that luxury vibe. That could be good. I can see that working. What did I make the roof? Roof can be checkerboard, I guess. That'll change later anyways. So, anyways, first entry into Seth's Hall of very bad games, Criticon. That's an easy one. Okay, so next up on the list of Seth's least favorite games is going to be Devil May Cry 2. I'm a big fan of Devil May Cry. I wasn't when I started playing the series. I played 1, thought it was okay. 1 is fine. It's not going to blow you away, but it's like decently impressive for the time, especially for being like the first character action game. But Devil May Cry 2 is just a complete disaster of a video game. It is maybe the most boring, most personality dry, most nothing video game experience you could have, possibly in the entirety of the industry. Like I struggle to think of a game blander than that. So that's my pick for another one of the worst of all time. See what else is on the list. Oh yeah, next up is Mega Man games. I like Mega Man. I don't like all the Mega Mans, all the Mega Men. Sometimes they swing and they really, really miss. Specifically when we're talking about Mega Man X7 and X8. No, not 8. X8 is great. I quite like Mega Man X8. X6 and X7, two of the worst games I've played in my entire life. The level design is consistently atrocious in both of them. X6 has some of the most frustrating, like inconsistent, obnoxious level design I've seen in my entire life. Sometimes you can just lose due to random chance. Sometimes you just instantly lose and have to game over because you went to the wrong spot and you didn't have the right equipment because the game just didn't tell you about it. It was entirely optional, but you didn't go out of your way to get it. So, oops, sorry, game over, idiot. And then X7 is just so slow and also frustrating. So it's a great combination of being really boring and really slow and really frustrating. It's got all the worst qualities that a game could possibly ever have. All right. Next up on the list of... Okay, this is the final entry into Seth's least favorite games of all time. This one, some people might not expect this one. It is... Sorry, just making sure I got my stuff set up correctly. It is Final Fantasy XII. I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy. I was, anyways. I don't know if I can really say that confidently now. But I was a big fan of the Final Fantasies. I really like the classic series quite a bit. I think that 6, 9, not 6, 9. Well, 9's pretty good. I like 9. But 9, not 9, I keep saying 9. 6, 5, and 10 are some of the best RPGs ever made. Absolute classics. I love all of those games quite a lot. Very, very good games indeed. But they kind of start losing me once they get around to 11. I haven't played 11, but it's an MMO. Not really my jam. I get why it would be somebody else's jam, but just not really a genre I have a whole lot of interest in playing. And then they made Final Fantasy XII, which is a snooze fest of a video game. It's very MMO-ish, which means it's on autopilot most of the time. The player interactivity feels very limited. The combat system is one of the most boring I've experienced in a video game ever. The music is good, but not the most memorable. The characters are all boring. I don't remember a personality trait about any of them, other than one of them being kind of cocky, I guess, like a Han Solo type. It hasn't aged great visually. It's kind of boring looking, stylistically. It just kind of has nothing I like about it. And I don't think I would give it a 1 normally. But as somebody who really did care about the old Final Fantasies, it's something that really struck a chord with me as something that I just could not get behind. All right, well that was my long, extensive diatribe about the games that I hate. I hope that was mildly interesting. You make it sound like X6 and X7 killed your family. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them so much. I am very opinionated on video games, and that should be apparent. Hey there, Meet the Beat. I appreciate the offer. I am currently working with a composer at the moment, though. Again, appreciate the I appreciate the out. But I am all covered on that front. Should have some sample music for you guys to listen to pretty soon. But we'll see on that. I don't want to rush my guy. He knows what he's doing. He's a very skilled jazz musician. That's a little sneak peek. This game will have jazzy, kind of experimental, weird music. Be prepared for that. It's not going to be super traditional. I hope you're mentally prepared for that. Praying for good music. If I have anything to say about it, if he has anything to say about it, it'll be pretty damn good. I would not worry about it too much. My guy knows what he's doing. Okay, so let's do a little bit of extra detailing and whatnot while we're here, while we're chipping away at this. Let's go to level textures and win million. I think I'm gonna slap a little logo right there of the casino. So setting that to 0.7, 0.7, 0.7. That seems to fit pretty nicely. Drag it out from the wall a little bit so it doesn't flip so aggressively. It's kind of nice. We got ourselves a little casino sign. I guess this one's less of a building and more of like a weird little outpost for it to be two actual buildings, but I kind of like that. We want any sprites on this one? It needs like sort of the generic like casino. Rotate that one like 90 degrees. Drag it out a little bit. It kind of seems like something that a casino would do, probably. Okay, sure. That fits relatively. So let's go back to props, actually, because I want to... you might have noticed in one of the other stages that I showed earlier, if you were here anyways, I've got these guys just sort of hanging out in the distance, like big floating poker chips. Kind of like sell the void aesthetic, because it's all things that have been sucked up into one confusing jumble of space-time things, and it's all mashed together. So having these like floating pieces of debris will help sell that atmosphere more effectively. So I'm gonna add a couple of these just floating around, doing their own, minding their own business. Get a couple like really far out there, Maybe one like kind of down here, hidden behind this wall. Whoa! Didn't mean to do a 360 there. Yep, I keep misclicking off of it and then flinging my camera at Mach 10 in a random direction. Okay, that's just like a couple of poker chips. Maybe we could add a few more. I'll definitely have to do some playtesting on this to see how any of this impacts performance. I don't think the chips will be a problem. They are literally just like 2D textures that are spinning. So I really doubt that this will be something that the engine has a problem managing. But you never know. Hopefully this game will be runnable on pretty poor hardware. But we'll see. Uh-oh, forgot it spawns me at the camera location. Yeah! There we go, now it's all voidy and floaty and strange feeling. So one thing I actually did forget about. So we're gonna go to Maps, and then we're gonna go to Level 1-1, and I like this this color of the skybox. I think I might make it a little bit richer color-wise, just like a little bit, because too much more, and I think it'll be a little bit overbearing. Just a subtle bit. Yeah, like that kind of blue is really nice. I like that a lot. Yeah. That's what I'm vibing with that. So we're going to copy-paste this skybox over. Save that map there. Get rid of... wrong map. Get rid of this skybox, and then drag in the new one. Now it's got this weird kind of like brightly lit, but simultaneously like kind of dim evening vibe. Bah. So it is maybe still a little bright. I'm realizing that is a little more apparent to me when I'm looking at it now. So let's grab the post-process volume, and let's adjust the exposure a little bit. So this will sort of... there we go. So we can dim the stage's visuals just a little bit. So it still has that kind of like brightly lit vibe, but it's a little bit more reined in. Just feels a little bit nicer to look at now. Although I might need to brighten these reds up a little bit, because they're starting to get a little bit dim. But I like the color change that brings. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the same for this section here. We're going to go to the post-process volume, and then... I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that. My bad. I realized it right after I did that. I shouldn't, there could be people with epilepsy watching. I will not do that again. Oops. But yeah, it looks kind of like night-ish. It's kind of pleasant. I like the vibe this has. Ba-ba-bum. Look, after that you need to talk about your favorite games. I could do that. I could definitely do that. Ba-ba-bum. He puts the void in Void Collector. Suppose so. Intrusive thoughts? Yeah, absolutely. Will there be secrets? There'll be funny secrets. I don't know if there'll be secrets. Like, actual secrets. But maybe. Secrets are funny. I love the background when he puts the void in Void Collector. Yeah, I think it's really nice, like, aesthetic that matches it pretty well. I might actually add some of these floating, like, buildings. I might do that. I think that'll look nice. So why did you break? Because there should be windmill blades. But those disappeared. Okay, so I did like the suggestion of talking about my favorite games to bring that back around, because that is a topic that I can ramble on and on about for forever while modeling and shit. But first I'm gonna real quickly drag this in. Why are you invisible? What is your deal? Why are you invisible? Oh, because it has a decal texture. Why is that the case? Let's make it, like, I don't know, exterior? There we go. Okay. Well, why'd that happen? Oh, now you can't see that. Let's make it... Bloop. Nah, it still doesn't read too well. Purple. There we go. Oh, that looks great. Oh, look at that. The thick outlines, the rotating movement of it, that's... excellent. Loving that. Okay. Feeling pretty good. I hadn't really done much of any 3D work before I started this project, so the fact that I'm able to make an environment that looks even... it's very rudimentary, but something that looks, like, decently, moderately, maybe even a little passable, maybe even a little cool sometimes, maybe even a little bit. That is something I'm very pleased with, very cheesed with. What's the 10-page long lore? I actually have started drawing up, like, a little concept board for the intro cutscene. I don't know if that'll be in the demo. I hope to have it in the demo. I'll probably have a good amount of time just, like, waiting for Steam approval and approval on other platforms and stuff. And the kind of boring behind-the-scenes things. So there probably will be time to make an intro cutscene and put that in. What is the brain thing? Brain is health. We got a health system now. Okay, anyways. Favorite game discussion. I'm looking at my little list here of all the games I've given a 10. So, first one here we've got is Pizza Tower. It's Pizza Tower. It's brimming with creativity. The art style is really dumb and fantastic. It takes Wario Land 4 and makes a really fun, fresh spin on that kind of concept. It is just sort of just bursting with cool ideas and fun new concepts. It's very, very fun, very original. A whole lot of fun. It's deep also. It's got a lot of complexity to it while never being overbearing to the point of feeling like it's unfocused or like it's kind of lost in itself. It knows when to try something crazy and it knows when to pull back. Sick ass game indeed. Sorry, I'm focusing on slapping this texture in place. Let's make that 0.7. Okay. What was I going to say next? Yeah, so that's the first entry on the list. Go. Real quickly, gonna get this set up. Drag you out a little bit. I think it still is missing a little something, so let's add like a door sprite to it. Probably make this like 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Yeah, there we go. Rotate you around to 180. Drag you out. Yeah, okay, that looks nice. I feel like it's got a little bit more sense of place now. Rather than just looking like a little building that has nothing to it. Set you to 90. Let's say negative 90. 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Okay, I like that a lot. That is a nice little bit of extra detail. Really helps those backgrounds feel like they are, makes it feel a little larger than it actually is. So now we're gonna do the same thing here, where we're gonna add some little floating buildings in the distance to help sell the atmosphere and the impression that the player is supposed to be getting. You have to voice the cutscenes yourself. Probably not going to voice it. If health bar is the brain bar, that would suggest that the more hits you take, the stupider you become, and honestly, that's funny. True, I didn't even consider that. Okay. So we're going to hit Shift F5. No. Shift F1, Shift 1, F10, F5. There we go. So now what we're going to do is do some loose modeling for a couple of little bits of environmental detail. So I'm thinking I'll probably have, like, maybe a windmill over here, casino over here, and then one sort of big... Maybe we could, like, have the big windmill, like, the big windmill from the final stage, like, way out here. And it's, like, really big and really imposing looking, but that's the next stage, you know? It's like in Super Mario Sunshine, where you can see the next level off in the distance. It'd be that kind of thing. That could be fun. I like that. Okay, back to talking about games I love. I'm a big fan of fighting games. That should be pretty obvious if you've been watching the devlogs, because I just blatantly have like a section where I include footage of me playing Ed in Street Fighter 6 rather. So I think that's probably pretty obvious. But I love fighting games. Street Fighter 6 is one that just jives with me on all the right levels. I love pretty much all of the character designs. It's just, it kind of hits it exactly what I'm looking for in a Street Fighter, where it's like focused mechanically, but it still lets you get away with a good amount of stupid nonsense. It's really well designed. I love the style of it. It's like maybe a little too realistic, where I prefer the generally cartoonier vibe of some of the older games in the series. But I can't help it. I love that game. Such a fun ass game. Main complaint: music's not great. It's okay. It's not strictly speaking bad music, but for a Street Fighter soundtrack, it's pretty lackluster. Like, you know, you gotta have good music if you're coming out with a Street Fighter game, and that one's not. It's not really hitting. But yeah, that's the next entry on the list. As an Ann White speedrunner, I'm excited for your project. Thank you. What if instead of voices you had sounds like Don't Starve or other games that do that? That would, I could see that working a lot more than like strict like voice acting. Alright, next up on the list of my favorite games, we've got are you outside of the... Why is the outline not applied to it? Sorcery. Oh no, it is there. It's just really hard to see. I think? I don't think it is there. Why is the outline not applied to it? That is so weird. Okay, whatever. I got too distracted by that. Alright, next up on the list is God Hand. I love God Hand. If you played God Hand for about 25 seconds, I think you'll be able to understand why. If you guys know anything, I don't think I've talked really about why I like games, or what about them specifically makes them things that I enjoy. But really what I gotta say is it's all about, like, deep gameplay. It's about skill expression. It's about focusing on gameplay first above everything else. Like, I like a good story as much as the next guy, but if I'm playing a video game, I'm there for the gameplay. Like, that's what I want first and foremost. That's the utmost priority. And I think in a lot of games that I really like, the story is used sort of as a means to enhance the stupidity and give you a fun short break from maybe intense gameplay. Like, that's what they do in God Hand, where it's a really, really dumb story in a really difficult game, so it can give you a short reprieve from all the nonsense you're dealing with gameplay-wise. So yeah, God Hand. Very difficult game. Very, very deep game. It's mechanically extremely well like fleshed out and complicated. I'll say this, that don't be surprised if, probably not the next game, but something that comes out after Void Collector is probably going to have some sort of like a customizable like combat system. I've had this idea in my head for the longest time, not for the longest time, but since playing God Hand specifically, about a like a beat 'em up where you play as a robot, where you're super ultra customizable and like you can set all sorts of intricate like customized things about how you fight. And that would be probably the project that I'm most excited about to do after this. Although I've got a lot of other project ideas. They're just like, one of them in particular is extremely, extremely complicated, and I don't think I've got the brain power to put that one together for at least a good couple extra years until I've got more development under my belt. The atmosphere reminds me of Mario Galaxy. Yeah. Who'd win in a fight, Doom Guy or D1? Doom Man. What if you made the floor pattern like almost grassy? It is kind of grassy. I do want to redraw it now that you mention it. Because it is like a little bit kind of just soupy. Like, I was going for something that'd be kind of like a naturalistic grassy look, but it just kind of looks a little bit messy, so I think it needs something more. Saying mechanical and fleshed out in the same sentence doesn't sound right. That makes sense. I get where you're going from there. Saying mechanical and fleshed out in the same sentence doesn't sound correct. I guess I get where you're... Yeah, because it's two sort of opposing ideas. Anyways, back to my self-indulgent diatribe about games I like. Next up is Cuphead. I love Cuphead quite a lot. It is visually just one of the strongest games ever made. It looks gorgeous. It is, on top of that, extremely fun. It is, the boss fights just are so full of fun, interesting phases to dodge, and getting good at it is so challenging and rewarding. I can't get past it. I love that game. Yeah. Set it to wallpaper. It's also got a fantastic soundtrack. As somebody who's a big fan of like big band, swing jazz, as somebody who enjoys that style of music quite a lot, it speaks to me. I feel like I should have more to say on Cuphead, but I kind of don't. It's just kind of sick, and everything that's good about Cuphead is like pretty self-explanatory. I feel it's like if you want to know why Cuphead is sick, just like look at it or play it. Look at it and play it. It's just game speaks for itself. Next up is Enter the Gungeon. Have you watched the Cuphead show? I have not. Maybe little tough textures that always face the player to fit the style. I like that idea, actually. I like that idea a lot. Only concern is having more things that could potentially increase performance cost. But, again, this game is made out of 14 polygons and, like, extremely basic textures and 2D enemies, so it's probably not that much of a concern, but that is a concern. Most games have to choose between fun gameplay or amazing, unique style. Cuphead doesn't. True. Objectively true. Anyways, as I was saying, next up on the list of games that I like is Cuphead. Not Cuphead, I said Cuphead already. Gungeon. Enter the Gungeon. Enter the Gungeon is just really good. It is extremely challenging. It is extremely deep. It's a little too big. Yeah. It's extremely involved. It feels like you're constantly getting runs with like new interesting combinations of weapons and room types. Like it takes a really long time before you really feel like you've seen it all, in a manner of speaking. It's a game that's bursting with creativity and a clear love for the medium, and it's just a truly wonderful game. Anyways, brief break from that. You can see this off in the distance. It looks a little strange because it's actually so far away from the camera. I've got a little system in place where it won't apply the outline effect to things that are too far away from the camera, because then the skybox would start having outlines. How did that hit none of you? And that doesn't look good when it's like when you get to see the lines on the skybox. It looks really janky and kind of bad. But I might tweak the distance a little bit so that this is still like rendered in somehow. Okay, so now we're gonna need some texture to these fellas. But I really like how this is coming along. This looks really nice. I like this. Just gotta step back and look at it every once in a while to really take it in and see if it's coming along. And I feel like it is. Silly middle finger game guy is live. I guess that's me. We have a square enemy, a circle enemy, and then we need a triangle. Pyramidas. I was trying to think of a good name. I'll come up with it later. My names are not something I ever think out well. It's always just something stupid. Like the first or second thing that comes to my head is usually what I end up going with. I don't know if that's apparent, but well, it probably is apparent if I'm naming my enemies things like Cuboid. That I'm not thinking too hard about what their names are. Let's make this the rock texture. Okay, and then we'll come back in a second to apply the casino exterior texture to that. Let's set this to grass. And then we're gonna set these sides to rock. I was thinking about this the other day when I was running through one of the stages. But like when you start putting textures on everything and you start like contextualizing it and you have these like floating poker chips and stuff, it's starting to like it's veering much further and further away from being a prototype of a game, or like it's visually looking a lot less like a prototype of a game. Like it's starting to look like, even if it's still a bit rough, it's looking like a video game. And it feels a lot more real and a lot more imminent when it's put like that. It's kind of cool. It's not kind of cool. It's very cool. It's refreshing, reassuring to see things come together in a way that's feeling kind of cohesive. There we go. And we're gonna do the same to this guy right here, where we give it a... I always get that wrong. I always get that angle wrong. Anyways, we can slap a nice little casino texture on him. And slap a door sprite on it. Give you a rotation of 90. I always get it wrong, even though I did it just there, and I should have known that it'd have to be negative 90. Drag it up a little bit. Drag it out a little bit. And there we go. Okay, let's take a look at our new additions. So we've got ourselves a nice set of textures. Probably gonna need to slightly brighten up this red building exterior. See a casino, you got floating poker chips all around you. You can see I've actually got a texture for the death plane. Because you can interact with the death plane if you want. You can shoot the death plane, you can bounce off it, you can place a detonator on top of the death plane if you really want to. So now it's got more of an obvious visual signifier that you can interact with it on some level. So, that helps sort of marry those two things together a little more closely. What are the new squid-looking guys? Oh yeah, their name is Jeb. They're just the old jump guys. Pyramidisal? Welcome back, Bahoon. Okay, yeah, I'm liking how this is coming along. I might still add some more poker chips, or like a new, different type of like floating object. Like maybe there's like a playing card. Probably a playing card. Maybe it'll be a one playing card. Because somebody noticed this in the Discord, but there's these signs, these little posters I've added to the interiors of the buildings. and there's an ace, a 1, and a 2 card on this one. And I didn't notice until after I finished drawing that I'd made a 1 card and an ace card. And for some reason, that was very funny to me. So I'm not removing it. And then somebody in the Discord noticed, and I'm very happy that other people noticed that as well. So maybe having, like, flying 1 cards would be kind of funny. Okay, but we're going to need to do a couple of general reworks. We're going to need a new ceiling fixture, extra floating doodads, but I'm pretty confident that texture-wise, this is this level done. Kind of. It's in a good spot. To celebrate, though, let's just give it a little run through, a little celebratory playthrough. So boom, bust the door down, kill him, take him out. Okay, then here again. Ah. Okay. Second floor down. Oh, this section needs some slot machines, I just realized. Forgot to add them to that face. Okay. Might even add some extra, like, machines and different types of, like, gambling instruments. Okay. Then we're gonna go here. We're gonna activate all of these guys, get them aggroed. Then we're going to take him out. Loud. Out. My ears. Okay, but we clear that section out nice and quick. Come out. Oh, I forgot to texture this section. Whoops. Yep, section. Okay, I need to add a little platform or something there, because that section feels really inconsistent. Oh, who did I miss? Who did I miss? Shit, who did I miss? No, I missed somebody. No! My run, my perfect run! Oh, they must have been in the building. Dan. I do want to... It's been a suggestion people have put out there, and I like the idea of, like, some sort of, like, a clear indicator. Someone just died. Alright, someone died somewhere in the level. I don't know what killed them, but they're dead. But it's a good idea of, like, some sort of an indicator that, like, marks a little red spot around enemies, like, even through walls or something, if they're, like, less than 3 enemies. Something like that. So it's more immediately visually apparent. When making objects always face the player, make them look too much like enemies? I don't really think so. I don't think these guys really look like enemies. Like, these machines. Because they're more, like, subdued color palettes, but if that is an issue in, like, testing, then I could just reduce the color a little bit, like, make them a little darker. Yeah, but I'll figure out a system for, like, making enemies, sort of, like, some sort of a highlight system for if you have killed all the other enemies in a level and there's, like, 3 or 5 or something left. Something along that vein would be good. I think that would be good to have indeed. One thing I actually did intend to do here, before I forget. 1 second. Nope, thought I had to sneeze, it didn't. I'm gonna put a Sheila right here. And she's gonna shield this guy. Because I kind of feel like this guy doesn't do a whole lot for the stage. Now we're gonna do what I forgot to do, and texture up this section here. So that's just gonna be selecting all this, making a bunch of these. Actually, how about the pillars are dark rock instead of the regular rock? Because I think that might help them stick out a little bit more from the wall here. Yeah, I think that'll be nice. Okay, let's make sure I've got all the sides here. Oh, go. Do you like that's all of them? Yep. Okay, now what we're going to do is select the brush tool Then manually select this section. I'm gonna make that dark rock. Hit assign active. And there we go. We're gonna go back to all with an angle. So we can select this, 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 and this. Oh shit, I forgot a side. No. Also give that dark rock. Yeah. That'll stay light rock, I think. That gives a nice visual kind of contrast to it. Yeah. Insides of these need to be... Actually, I think the insides of all of these... Maybe the outsides could be... No. Never mind. Forget what I said. I didn't say anything. Yeah, that stays dark rock. No one's gonna be looking up there. I think it'll help distinguish it a little bit. It's something the player doesn't need to pay attention to, and I think it'll make it more clear that it's something you're not supposed to pay attention to if it blends together a little. Yeah. Okay. Now that is texture. Alright, we're gonna do one more run of this stage. Now with the new changes we've enacted. No! Oh, this thing! I need to fix that. I need to fix that bug. I don't know how to fix it, but I need to fix it. I need to fix that so it doesn't crash people's games. As funny as the bug as it is. Maybe just like some sort of an inherent delay on like the landing effects. So that way it can't happen like literally every single possible frame. Because that's what happens there, is that it keeps like re-triggering that over and over and over. And it starts lagging the game out because it's trying to spawn like 1 quadrillion particles. Okay, gonna go ahead and aggro all these guys. Oh, well, see ya, idiot. Ow. Okay, clear those guys out. Take care of him. Don't even have to go over there. Gonna take a pit stop here. We got so much juice left that we can just kind of do this. Don't even gotta engage with these fools. I missed an enemy again. Who could I be missing? Must be somebody in here. I just can't find. Because what happened last time is that an enemy disappeared and then just mysteriously died randomly. I don't know where they are, though. Oh, is it... Oh, no, there's a Slapmo over there. I can see him. Uh-oh. Wait. No! Okay, I just missed a Slapmo. I thought there was a bug, but nah. There's just a guy that I missed entirely. That's why we need to add a system for, like, finding the last guy. Is because it's probably not going to be super fun just wandering around looking for one dude. Taking those pillars would make me think of how cool a skyscraper construction stage could be. That could be pretty cool. Maybe have some sort of a sense that the player has to play hot and cold when there's a few left. Maybe. Something more than what we got. Pushers would be awful on a high stage, so you'd have to scale upwards. Oh, it's already pretty difficult to deal with when you're doing the in the tower stage, in the windmill stage. So believe me, I'm sure it'll be even worse. Yeah, I don't really know how to do that. I guess I could have like some sort of a flag inside of the enemies where they've got like a trigger that says if something is, like, how do I put it? Like some sort of a trigger for if you, like if you're under like a certain threshold, like a variable that like makes them. I really don't know. I really don't even know. Like, I could trigger something in them, but I don't know how to make a material that you could see through walls. I'm sure there's a way to do that. I'm going to need to research it, though. Enemies viewable through walls when at Low enemy counts. See, that's the thing, though. That's why I am reluctant to too confidently assert a release date for the demo. Because it's one thing to have this out. Like, if I wanted to, if I really wanted to, I could release this, like, this week. I could finish the textures here, and that would be it. Like, I'd have a demo that is playable. I wouldn't get it on Steam, because I don't have the clearance and stuff for that yet. I have to let that rock before I can send it out. But, like, it's playable. I've got all the stages in. You could it's something you could theoretically play. But the reason that I'm not doing that is because we have a lot of stuff like that that is essential to do. It's really important to have. So we gotta remember that the goal isn't just to get this game out; it's to get it out and get it out good. Because you only get one first impression. You gotta come out of the cages swinging. What's your opinion on choose your own adventure games? I don't think I've really played any. So I'm not exactly a good judge for that sort of thing. Like, I played adventure games, but I haven't really played a choose your own adventure game. There's none that I can really think of. So real quick, tweaking a couple of things here. Yeah, just want to generally smooth out a couple of the rough edges here and there. I kind of got this style that I like, where I'll smooth out sort of rougher edges from only certain places. Where you leave some corners jagged, like right here, I'll leave that as like a jagged corner. Because I think it kind of looks nice when you've got the contrast. It's like right here, if we cut this corner in a little bit, then you've got this nice kind of contrast, where it's like everything's kind of inconsistent and warbly. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else I really want to smooth, because most of this building should be pretty jagged, and that's fine. Like, a lot of this is kind of broken, like, weird pillars. Like, this is a section where I can add a bit of smoothing. Yeah. I will say, now that I'm thinking about the demo and stuff, as it's feeling a lot closer to being ready, I'm getting to the point where I'm running out of things that are interesting to stream for the time being. Like, unless people would really want to show up to a coding stream where I meticulously try to figure out how to code, like, a leaderboard saving and ranking system. Again, probably not online. At least not at first. Like, that'd be a great thing to have, but that's a complicated thing to figure out. So maybe later. Should be it. Yeah. Everything else is fine as is. But the interesting stuff has started to dry up a little bit. Like, the coolest thing I think people like seeing is, like, level designs, and I assume mostly level designs. Yeah. Maybe, like, coding enemies and stuff, but a little less of it is around. Where is juice made from? Don't worry about that. Art takes time. It's true. That is true. I think it's probably the most agreeable stance on planet Earth that people agree with. The idea that you shouldn't rush out a game. What did I call this? Like, building. Building exterior, wallpaper. And then we need checker. And ceiling. Okay, now we've got our material set up. We're going to hit accept, and then Unreal is going to think it's having a heart attack because it's trying to apply a bunch of texture changes. So we got to give that un momento. And there we go. We're in. It's kind of funny, you can see some of the areas that it janked a little bit. And before I forget, we're going to remesh this entire thing. Yeah. So that just re-triangulates the whole model. And it will ensure that there's a lot less weird seams that we need to sort out. Honestly, I just like listening in. I don't really care what's happening. Okay. Well, I appreciate that, I guess, because I don't really know what else you do when you're watching a stream other than like throw it on in the background, right? Like, I don't know if there's people like tuned into these that are like saying like a lot, or glued to their screens, like, oh man, what's he gonna do next? Oh no way, he applied a texture. It's insane. What's he gonna do now? The fake Miyamoto quote, yeah. Rushed game, yada yada. Although I should also emphasize that I think that there is something to a deadline. I think deadlines are, at least for me, very good and very healthy for a project. Which is why I am saying a hard limit of end of July is when the demo needs to be done. Because knowing that you need to hit a certain date, at least for me, it enforces the idea that you need to have things done by this certain point. So instead of trying to polish it as much as possible or include every single idea that you could possibly come up with, it's like, all right, this is the time you've got to work with. How can I use this time as effectively as possible, you know? It's a question of like, if you've only got this amount of time, then how are you going to spend that time? It forces you to really stop and think about what is going to be most important for the project. Because I think if you have infinite time to like think about something and retool things, eventually you start just doubting everything that you're doing, and you might have a product that feels like it's got a lot of different ideas from different eras of development. Like my example for this is always Amori, which I'm pretty sure was like a 5-year development cycle, and it kind of feels like one, and not necessarily in a good way. Because you have some things that are really well thought out, focused, and polished, like the story, but then you've kind of got some other things where the mechanics don't feel totally focused, and like it's got a lot going on, but it's at the same time really easy to break the mechanics and not have to really engage with the combat much. Like, it's super easy to get a loadout that's just kind of busted and never have to like change or critically like think about your build or how you approach combat. So I think a game like that, to me at least, it feels like it got a little lost in the weeds of being able to develop for as long as it wanted to. And again, this is going to depend on a person-by-person basis. Don't take these words as gospel by any means. But for me, I think that at a certain point, having more time is not a good thing. Windmill! Oh, you can't see it because of all the latticing. That's not latticing, it's textures. Oh, the polys? The wireframe? What would you call it for like the poly view, where you still see the model? Like, it's not a wireframe, but it like shows the wire frame. You should puke out every idea that comes to your stream of consciousness. Just keep thinking, never doubt it. It should be an RPG, just make it an RPG. Maybe you're right. You should just let a game have infinite time and put every idea you have into the game without second thought. No, he's fitting. It's a good idea. How do you know when a game is the one you want to work on long term? Some of my best games were released after pivoting from other stuff I thought I'd finish at the time. I mean, that is an excellent question. And it's a very personal one to the individual. Like, you just kind of just get the feeling, you know? I mean, for me, what it has to be is, like... And this is only something I've realized after a whole lot of, like, thought on the subject. And reflection and whatnot. But really, you just kind of have to feel it. Like, it's got to be something that you know has a hook. Like, what's the X factor of this game that sets it apart? For me, it's the hand-switching gimmick. It's got something familiar with the Pizza Tower combo system and a neon white concept of, like, simple levels with speedrunning as the focus. But I twist that into my own format by making it more open-ended, by making an FPS with a convoluted hand-switching gimmick. It's got that element going for it. And the key thing, the absolute most important factor as to, for me, what like helps me decide if this is the thing that I want to be working on for the next long while, is, am I excited about it, you know? Is this a project that, when I sit down, I am... is this a concept that I know I can force myself to be excited about on days when I'm just not feeling it? Because that's what sets apart a project that gets finished from a project that doesn't get finished. Is if you are able of picking yourself up, saying like, all right, listen, me, I am not enthused today. I'm out of energy. I'm tired. I don't want to do this right now. I want to just play video games and take a nap. It's the projects that you can look yourself in the eye and say, listen, it doesn't have to be much, but even if it's just like 30 minutes, we're gonna do something today. It's got to be the project that you can force yourself to work on, even when you don't really want to work on it. I feel like I go on a lot longer than I should about certain topics. Holy shit, long comments. When I spend too long on a piece of music, it loses direction. Yeah, that's the thought process. Games should not have exact due dates. I always hear about games being rushed and not turning out. I mean, I don't agree with that. I get where you're coming from in principle. I think No Man's Sky is also probably a game that had a troubled development because they didn't have a focus at first, right? Because it was kind of just like, it's like, oh, it's a space exploration game, but like, you got to get like your basic stuff in first, you know? Like, you could develop all these complicated systems, but you need to get the thing that makes your game good in first before everything else. That's my 2 cents on that. And I think to a certain extent, having like at some point knowing when to cut yourself off from working on a project still is an incredibly healthy thing for a project and for yourself as a developer and as a creative. Because I've had this experience where I personally feel like working on smaller projects more frequently rather than larger projects less frequently, there are so many fundamental things you don't know that you're doing wrong until you're really far in a project. So you can have projects that are maybe a little less focused, a little less idealized, but with each one, because you're going to be essentially having more attempts at it, for me, you're going to learn, at least I find that I learn a lot more with smaller projects rather than one larger project that keeps adapting over time. Because like maybe your idea is good, but it has like something that it's missing, or it's like a fun game, but it's kind of lacking that X factor. And each time that you start a new small project, you can carry over all of that experience. So knowing when to cut yourself off, it might make your current project a little bit weaker, because you might not put as much time into it overall. But what you're also doing is you're letting yourself have more time to explore more ideas over the course of your lifetime. It's like, I'm not investing in just Void Collector. I'm investing in my career and life as a game developer. I just don't like the idea of games being rushed. Yeah, that's not the gist though. The reason that I'm comfortable saying that this might come out end of July is that I could release this right now and it would be perfectly playable and fun. Like, it would be a good demo that shows you what the game's all about, and I think people would enjoy playing it. So I'm okay with releasing it. But I have that hard cutoff of end of July because the game, at a certain point, needs to come out. And I need to get feedback on it, I need to get testing, I need to get a larger audience, I need to start building more of an audience, hopefully start getting in some Patreon numbers once I get that set up, you know? You need to get something out. You can't just keep working on the same thing for forever. So I feel like that's how you kind of stunt yourself a little bit as an artist. And I think that is absolutely something that I think is true for like large game development too. Is to a certain extent, maybe if you've got the right team, you've got the right environment, then having no deadline is a good thing. Like Mario Wonder, great game, didn't have a development deadline. but I imagine that the team internally also had more of a focus to it, right? And especially as an indie developer, like I stress this is only from the perspective of an indie. But I feel like for myself, for growing more as a developer and as an artist, as a creative, I feel like it would be a lot harder to make consistent progress and learn more if I had to polish and tweak everything until I felt like it was perfect or as good as it could possibly be. Eventually, you gotta call good enough, you know. Especially because I've got good reason to have a deadline here, since I've graduating college in 9 months. Yeah, I don't like thinking about that. That's too scary. Yeah, but long and short of it, I think that knowing when to cut yourself off is an essential skill of being a creative. I think I do kind of have the problem sometimes of like cutting it a little too early. I've run into that before. Try to set that to checker. Not my checker, M checker. There we go. Especially in like school what was I saying? Where I might like be a little too okay to submit something that probably could be better, and I don't iterate on it more. But again, a certain point, game's got to come out. I'm not looking to have a Pizza Tower like 4-year development cycle on this. You know, like here's something I've been thinking about a lot. Actually, let me read comments first. I've been jabbling. I want to do small projects. My brain can't focus for 2 years. I relate to this a lot as an artist. Favorite thing to do is doodle, and I've realized I'm doing a lot less actual big drawings, which used to be a lot more fun, but now can be tedious. Yeah, it's just knowing when to cut it off. Right. I think the red used for the building texture is weird. You think so? I kind of like how it looks. Sisyphus move of restarting the texturing process. I mean, I'm not restarting it. I'm just continuing it. I just got to do a lot inside. Well, I guess I did accidentally not save the texture difference. There's a difference between having a clear goal in mind and a deadline and not having a clear goal in mind. Yeah, right. You put it well. Ba-ba-bum. Oh yeah. But I know what I was gonna say. If you guys have ever played the Spark the Electric Jester games, and if I haven't, that probably sounds like a fake. If you haven't played those, it sounds like a fake series. But it's a real series, very much inspired by Sonic games. The person who made it made Sonic fan games first. But it's a good series. I think all 3 of them are pretty good. But Spark the Electric Jester 1 is a good game, but it kind of feels like it was made by somebody who was a bit new. He didn't exactly have a formula down that he knew how to handle, and he was getting kind of his grips with it and some of the larger game development of incorporating his own mechanics and making them work. And what I'm doing is kind of the same thing as Spark the Electric Jester 1. I'm making my first real video game. I'm making, like, I've made small projects, like I made Cool Zone, just you can download that off my itch.io page. You know, I've got something that you can play. It's functional. It's a game even. But you know, Spark 1 is it's good, but it doesn't feel like it's all the way there yet. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a perfectly normal, healthy thing. It's a small game, small scale, but it's a fun one. It's a good game. And I sort of have that mentality here. Like I'm not, this isn't, I should stress, this is not like me saying that I'm not going to try with this project, because I am pouring every last bit of my soul and fiber into this to make this as good as I can. But at a certain point, you also need to be willing to accept the fact that this is like kind of my first major project of this scale. There are going to be things I just don't know how to do. There's going to be problems that I don't really realize are problems until it's probably a little too late for that. And that's okay. That's how it is. That's how game development is. There are things that are going to be problems here that I know how to fix for future reference. And I think that is a perfectly healthy, natural part of development. Back to rambling again. But that's a big part of why I'm insistent on this being a small, like, focused, contained project. I love yapping, don't I? I love talking. I guess I'm a streamer, so I guess what else do I do? I'm just sitting here talking about nothing. Except it ain't nothing, it's something. Something to me. I clearly, I'm sure this probably already comes across, but I love video games, I like making stuff, and it is a topic I've put a great deal of thought into over the years. So I do kind of appreciate streams as just like, I guess it's probably the wrong way to put it, but like almost a therapy session of just like, I get to put out all the weird like game design, philosophy ramblings that I've been carrying around in my stupid noggin for all these years. It's like it's a kind of an opportunity to dump all those concepts somewhere. Why is the windmill made of grass? Oh, it isn't. I just haven't textured it yet. Maybe a little more sand color instead of red. I could try that. Is it not enough Minecraft for you? Seeing this game be made is fascinating. Well, thank you. So genuinely entertaining to watch you actually texture and shape something, you know, people will gush over. I hope people will gush over it. That would be cool. This could just be like a little bit of a sort of defeatist attitude, but I just kind of doubt that this is going to be anything more than like a cool game that like is good but like feels rough. Again, not as an excuse to not try, because like I said, I am putting every little bit of my soul into this game. But just like objectively, this is my first game of this scale. It's gonna have problems, and that's a-okay. I forgot to close this bit off. I forgot to apply the texture first. Dang it, I Sisyphused again. I also would be, this gets back to therapy shit and yapping. But I would be a big liar, a big fat liar, if I were to say that I'm not extremely anxious about the release of the demo. Because there are a lot of people who are like, oh man, can't wait to play Peak, and I'm like, you should lower your expectations, because I'm firing on all cylinders to make this as good as I can, but like, I don't know if this is gonna be as good as you think it's gonna be. Like, it'll be good. I think it'll be fun. But that is a lot of pressure. And I don't know if I don't know if my absolute best is enough to meet that kind of expectation. Should do a Q&A. I'm cool with that. I could do that. That might be like a pre-demo thing or like a post-demo thing. Is there a lore reason as to why it's filled with holes? Yeah, it's falling apart. The wallpaper. But yeah, back to the topic, that idea of like people having high expectation. I mean, I guess there's nothing you can really do about that, right? And if somebody is like disappointed with the quality of the demo, then like that's still somebody who intends well, and I'm sure will give feedback as to what they would like to see changed. So I expect a lot of feedback. Feedback is good. I want a lot of feedback on this. Like that's why, a big part of why I'm doing the demo is because I want to improve and make this as good as I can. But again, I'd be lying if I said that releasing something to, you know, currently 6,000 subscribers, hopefully I'll get more downloads than that. That would be great. But putting something out there to that many people is, and like something that I've poured my heart and soul into, something that I really care about. And you give people a lot of power when you do that. When you take something that you care about and you throw it out there and you say, all right, here it is. Especially when you got a Patreon alongside it, because that is a full invitation for every round of feedback and criticism that you could possibly think of. Like it is open court. And it is, I try not to think about it, because it's scary. But, I don't know. It's something I think about quite a bit. I like going on walks as, like, a little break. I don't know, I like the red. But sometimes you just kind of find myself sitting there and, like, considering, like, damn. I'm gonna spend like 35 minutes figuring out the controls in the tutorial. Yeah, probably. If you really want us to hate on your game to help you, then we will. No. I'm not asking for you to hate the demo. I'm asking for, I want like good feedback. If you just say, this game sucks, I hate it, then I'm probably not going to listen to you much. Because generally I'm not gonna take some of the feedback too well into consideration if it's from somebody who just doesn't like the concept or fundamentally thinks that the game doesn't work. Because I think that the game fundamentally does work. So that's not a perspective that I would agree with or find super helpful, you know? So again, I'm not asking for people to hate the game. I do want, like, good feedback, though. Although I guess I expect a lot of the feedback probably won't be good feedback. It'll probably be things like, hey, can you add a grappling hook? And things of that ilk. It's what it feels like most of the changes people suggest tend to be. Is not changes to what's already there, but like entirely new additions. Which isn't super helpful most of the time. Purple. Add a little bit of purple to these doorways here. Go. Let's make you the checkerboard. Forgot to make you purple. Purple. You gotta be wallpaper. Okay, yeah, the purple definitely needs some texture. It looks out of place right now. And I might have a different texture for the, like, interior walls here. Like a slightly darker blue or a slightly lighter blue. This is just a little too much blue and it kind of bleeds together a little bit. So it needs a little bit more variance, I think, to help it stick out a little bit, because it just bleeds a little. Probably not anything too bad. Again, probably something as simple as like a slight color change. Yeah. Same deal with like the checkerboard, but I kind of like how the checkerboard looks actually in here, like in this context. I think it looks kind of nice. Let's do a run of the level first before I say anything too definitive. If people complain, then tell them shut up, I'm gaming. Yeah. It's a demo. It's not gonna be perfect. That's something to keep in mind at least. Yeah, I'm sure that's what a lot of people will... I think most people will be fair. But it doesn't matter how fair the feedback is. Like, sometimes somebody who means really well, but, like, delivers some extremely accurate, scathing criticism that's what gets you the most. Is when, like, they're saying it and you're like, ah, shit. You're absolutely right about everything you just said. Like, that's when it can really sting. It's when it's right. Oh, a little stutter there. Oh, that's a section I forgot to texture. Yeah, definitely needs a pattern. Definitely needs a pattern. I think the checker might need to not be white. It's like, it's kind of a nice neutral color, but it also kind of looks like it's unfinished. Like, it just looks like I didn't texture it. And I don't really know what people think of that. Oh shit. I slipped. shit. Okay, alright, everybody gather around, everybody gather around. Yeah, you idiots, you morons. And we're back out here. Got a bit more of the grassy texture going on here again. Clear out Gunther. Then send him all the way down. We're gonna get a very delayed death on him. I didn't play the death sound there. Oh yeah, this section also needs some actual proper texturing. This is another place that would benefit from having a variant of the like indoor blue texture. Why did I shoot him? I know he's not an enemy. Okay, alright. I like how it's coming along though. It definitely needs some changes. Are you still planning on adding some directional assets for the level for clarity? Well, I've added some of these guys. Mostly what I want to do with that is, like, if it's kind of confusing where to go, then I'll have these guys pointing the way a bit. And that might need some tweaks. I've got one section that was a little confusing before I added these, and I haven't tested it since. So I'm probably going to have one of my friends do some play testing to see if that feels more intuitive. And if it does, then great, we're golden. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to start doing a little bit of detailing. Ooh, detailing! So scary. And first thing we want to do, actually, is mess with the contrast settings. I think I'll slightly lower it, so you get this nice sort of... It looks a little dimmer, it looks a little more nighttime-y, and I like that personally. Okay, we're going to go to Textures, Materials, we're going to go to Level Textures, 1 million, and we're going to slap a nice big logo. Yes, I got it right this time, let's go. So the problem is, it doesn't really fit here, on that angle, so we're going to make it right here. Is this not a 45-degree angle? Negative 45. Shit, now it's inverted, though. Actually, I think you probably could see it better if you approach from this angle. Probably. Yeah, you can see it more clearly from this side, actually. I'll do it here. And this one's going to be big. Like 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. Yeah. Nice big sign for the casino. Yeah, sure. Okay, I think we can go out of that section for now and go back to the props menu to add these props in. I thought you weren't texturing the floor for some reason. Yeah, it looks unfinished. Ah, shit. When the shield cuboid combo showed up, you went in to break Sheila's shield and stepped back again to shoot cuboid. I don't think it's a bad thing. It sort of gives you like a natural momentum of like going in and out because you can get in to break the shield, get out to dodge the cuboid, and then get in and shoot him. I think it's kind of fun even the kind of rhythm you get there. Okay, so now we're gonna add some very dumb posters. Yeah. And again, probably might have to make more of these so that you're not seeing the same 3 posters everywhere, but it's kind of funny. This is so stupid. This is so profoundly stupid. Sometimes you just stop and think for a second, and it just hits you all at once what you're doing. You guys ever have that? I have. Just now. And all the time. Frequently. Okay. We got a little bit of posters in there. Now we're going to need to add some gambling. Make sure you're lined up proper. Yeah, there we go. Now we got ourselves a nice little set of 2. I think I'm gonna scoot these a little bit closer to the middle, actually. Yeah, there we go. And then I'll have another set, like, right here. It'll rotate these, obviously. Set that to about a 45-er. It's gonna go right there. Can we please get a Jeb poster? I could do a Jeb. What's the direction of the starting us? You'll see it? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Still waiting for you to take my poster idea. You never said yes or no. What was your poster idea? I don't know if I saw that one. I know a lot of people are asking for it, I'm seeing, but I don't think I'll actually, like, I don't want to explicitly, like, reference the Gamble Core video, because I want to keep this kind of to its own thing, you know? Fun story, actually, about this area. I was trying to think of 2 very different locations to give the starting area, and I was like, grassy plains are kind of boring, but, like, you could do something interesting with it. Like, I deliberately wanted to take, like, a grassy field and try something new with it. So I started with that as a foundation, obviously not using this typical colors you'd get in a grassy field area. Well, the playlist did the thing again. Go back. Reshuffle, and go forwards. Nope, I said shuffle. Alright, there we go. What was I saying? I'm always so easy to forget my words. So I get locked in sometimes and I just lose any train of thought. What if the casino itself looks like a big slot machine and the ending portal is on the lever? Yeah, cool. Bouncer pinball? That's a cool idea. Maybe just cardboard with grass drawn on, but that sounds too complex and busy for the art style. Yeah, I could see it kind of working, though, if it's like... I guess maybe it'd be better if it was just, like, straight up cardboard. Not cardboard, but straight up, like, grass. Instead of, like, cardboard trying to look like grass, you know? Because it's generally pretty focused, not too detailed. So, I don't know if we really want to veer too hard into, like, adding in extra stuff like that. But it could work. I'm definitely not against that. But... I guess if I had, like, cardboard that looked like grass, then I might have to lean more into, like, the cardboard aesthetic. And we're not making Yoshi's Crafted World. This is a game for men. And women. I mean, women can play this, too. Hey, do you guys want to know my analytics, by the way, for the split? Here, I want you guys to take a prediction. I want to see some numbers in chat before I'll say it. But I'm gonna check my audience real quick to make sure I'm right on this. But what do you guys think that the male to female ratio is of my audience? So, like, what's the percentage of what's the percentage? Like, what percent of the audience do you think is male? That's what I want you guys to guess. While I continue to text your stuff. I'll give you a hint. It's definitely weighted towards dudes. There are more dudes here. %, 98, 16, 98.2, like 90%. Where's the green thing? This is a launcher. His name is Jed. 90%, 67%. All right. Well, some of you guys hit the nail right on the head. It is 91.5% male to 5.7% female, and then 2.8% user specified. So, it's worth noting that this isn't my plan. But if I were getting into game development to try to meet women, then I've done a very bad job at it. Such a stupid bit. Why did I say that out loud? Whatever. It's funny. You try to give Sheila no nose? Nah, I like Sheila's nose. It's funny. Plus, it gives her a little bit more of a distinct characteristic. Damn, that was so itchy. So, like, high pollen counts or something today? I've been sneezy and got an itchy nose all day. Sucks. I think I'm gonna sandwich this bouncer between these. Then I think I want to put one behind each of these little platforms where all these guys are hanging out. And again, some of this might be swapped out later for additional like little props and stuff, just to give it more variety. Because I'm cool with doing a bit more detail. But again, like I said, like I was rambling about earlier, there still does need to be a cutoff. No, can't go forever. What's the percentage of men again? It's 91.5%. Only men like big windmills, I guess. That can't be true. Big windmills are so cool. Alright, see how that looks at the extra detailing. I don't know if I like the logo being there, actually. It's not... I don't know if I like that the whole time. Maybe I should just have, like, a giant billboard or something. This is kind of like the main casino area, though. Yeah, idiot. Definitely gonna need to do some texture cleanup here and there in this section. That is for ding dang sure. But I do kind of... I'm liking how it's coming along still. It's undeniably very weird looking, and I'm liking that though. Like, I can't really think of a game that looks quite like this. Like, obviously this isn't the most unique art style out there or anything. Why did I shoot him once and run away? I'm not gonna kill him. But it looks kind of odd. It looks weird and unique in a way that I'm kind of jiving with. Like, it's an odd combination of color and textures and pattern that, at least in my humble, correct opinion, is pretty unique. Definitely still needs a lot of tweaks, though. But hey, I mean, I've done almost all of the texture work and detailing work for all of these stages in about 2 days. So if I've been able to do all this in about 2 days, then maybe I shouldn't be worrying too hard about how long it's gonna take. Boom, boom, bah. Boom, boom, bah. And this place still needs a redesign. Needs to be something a little more interesting. And I need to fix the collision on this thing so you can actually ride it. Instead of it just being a giant cube mesh. I think the floor should definitely be changed a different color. Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure if it needs to be a checkerboard, but it needs something. Looks like a Roblox game, lol. I think I'm gonna take that as an insult. I think I will. I know there's good Roblox games out there, but I'm gonna go ahead and be offended, I think. Eh, whatever. I'm getting out of here. Shit, I whiffed. Okay. Why did I back out of that? I still needed to get things from there. Now we're gonna start putting our poker chips everywhere. Yep. Pull you down a little. Then we're going to start populating the right side with these. This one be way out there. Another one that's way out there, but a little higher up. Let's see, so this area kind of still feels like it needs something. It's a little barren. Oh, keep accidentally misclicking off of that and then flinging my mouse at Mach 10. I'm sure there's gonna be like some 3D artists who will see this and be like, "Ah, man, this is very amateur," and it is very amateur. But I don't know, I'm happy with myself. I'm pleased, considering how little 3D experience I've had going into this. This is such a huge improvement over anything else I was doing, and it's just, you know, it's another thing that I've got time to get good at, and it's exciting. This reminds me a lot of Neon White. Yes. That is inspiration. Maybe a green carpet? I was thinking more of a red carpet, but I guess it's already red on the outside. I could try that. I do like a carpet. I think a little animation for Jeb would look good. Oh yeah, definitely. What do poker chips do? Oh, they're nothing. These are just little funny doodads. They just add like a little bit of texture and detail. Like, whoa, it's spinning. I might have to give them a randomized delay, actually. Like, each one has like a slightly different spin speed. Because they all look the same, and it's a little jarring when you can see them all, like, in the horizon, all spinning at the exact same rate and angle. Okay, what we're going to do real quick is make a building out on the horizon. I think I'm, like, right there. This will just be, like, a little place you can't access. Why can I not get rid of you? There we go. But again, like I've done in the other stages, just something to give it a little bit more texture. You know, kind of makes it feel like it's all these weird, disjointed places floating together in this strange space. Maybe a little taller, actually. Yeah. Okay, then we're going to go to material painting. Gonna get building exterior. Grab all these outside faces. Grab the... Oh, I already had that. Then we're going to grab the grass. Assign that. Get rock. Assign that. And then we're going to get dark rock. Got that there. Okay, now what we need to do is go to level textures, and then we can slap another little casino sticker and a little door right there. Shrink that down a little bit, maybe, so 0.6, 0.6, 0.6. Bring it forwards the ever littlest bit. Push over to the side, drop a casino sprite right there, drag you out a little bit. Center it, bring it down. Okay, now you've got that nice little casino building off the horizon, making this place feel a little bit more real. 90% of players whiff before they get voltaic, yeah. We can extend the death plane. Oh, don't worry. Death plane is pretty darn extended. That's these lines here. The ship by start looks like a collectible, which is confusing. It's fair, I can get that. Has the community collectively decided on a name? Hey, the community doesn't get to decide. I mean, I guess they could, but his name is Bourguignon, which is a French type of beef. What about maybe tiling the floating building so it's not all linear, like only 25? Oh, tilting. That's a cool idea, actually. I like that. Why are the weapons in the thumbnails all either the bird classic detonator? Some of them just read better. Like, what does this read as? Like, if you see this in a thumbnail, what the hell does this mean? So like this makes sense. This is an immediate appeal. This, you get this. You get this. You get this. This all makes sense. This also arguably makes sense. What the hell is this? This makes sense. This is just a hand. Like, what do you do with this? What does this mean? So it's just like, if it makes sense in the context of like a thumbnail immediately. How does the casino on the left get customers? Well, it doesn't anymore. Everything got sucked in. You know? Yeah. You can see when the outline shader starts like, you get out of render distance for it. And it just becomes like a full bright, like, shitty looking little thing. And now it looks much better when you're close to it, but at least it does look like something when you're up close to it. Okay, holy cow. That went for... We've been streaming for almost 3 hours? Yeah, 2 hours and 43 minutes. So, a little recap for today. We've got this area, definitely not done, but we've got the textures in, which is a big improvement. Same here, we've got textures inwards. Definitely going to need to draw some new stuff, add some extra details and whatnot. Probably have a different type of floating thing alongside the chips. So that way it reads more clearly and more cleanly. But we've got the textures in for all of this. Got the textures in for all this. Got the textures in for all of this. Everything is at the very least textured, even if the textures are not the final textures, which is fine. We can do that as we go along. That'll be something to improve upon as we get closer and closer to the inevitable release of the demo. But my voice is getting quite sore. I've yapped for long enough. I'm gonna go outside for a little walk, touch a little grass, breathe in some fresh air, perhaps. Maybe play some games for a bit, decompress, and then we'll get started. Well, then I'll do probably some more work on this off-screen this evening. But that feels like a very good place to call it. Yeah, I am tired. And I'm out of water, that's the worst part. Good stream to land on my birthday. Oh yeah, well, again, happy birthday, Evan of the 7-Eleven. Going to the last second? Ah, damn. Sorry to hear that. Okay. Well, me tired. Me sleepy. So, there we go. Goodbye.